Welcome back to the Immigration Answers Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States, out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. I hope you all are doing well. Today is Thursday, the 13th of July. It's 3 o'clock. Sorry for the back and forth as to whether or not we were going to do a show today, but this is episode number 396 of the Immigration Answer Show. Let's go ahead and get started right away. Let's talk to XX. Hello, XX.
Oh, hi. Hello. How are you, attorney?
I'm great. What can I help you with?
Okay, so I do feel like I do have a unique case. So I'm a lawful permanent resident since April 2020. I'm visa category CR1, and I applied for I-751 last year, February 2022.
Okay.
And then I went ahead and filed online for citizenship and 400 this year in May.
Great.
Yes. And earlier this year, I contacted the Congress office to send a case status update whatsoever.
Why did you do that?
Yeah, I felt like it's been taking too long.
It's taken 2 years for everybody now. Every 751's taken 2 years.
Yeah, so I didn't know.
That's okay.
Okay. However, now I applied for citizenship in May.
Right.
And in June, on June 6th, my husband kind of blindsided me with that he wants to have a temporary separation because we have been fighting a lot. And then he moved out into another apartment and put as a reason in the lease, need bigger space. I'm also dealing with health issues. So this all happened in June. So I went ahead and sent a request to withdraw my N-400.
Okay.
And now, July 11th, the Congress office emails me that USCIS has answered to them. The request to expedite the case has been denied.
Mm-hmm.
The applicants pending form I-751 and N-400 will be adjudicated on applicant's interview date. We have confirmed with the local field office.
Which field office? Which field office?
So don't get me wrong, Attorney Jim. Is this like for everybody?
Everybody. Yeah, you don't want to say, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, this is for everybody.
It's here in Virginia.
Okay.
And
they said they're going to do the 751 with the N-400.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I withdrew. I only sent in a request to withdraw the N-400.
Yeah, but those things probably passed. The agency probably told the congressperson that we're just going to do the 751 and the N-400 together, and didn't get your notice that you wanted to withdraw the N-400.
Right. So now on the interview scheduled in August, my husband said he's going to come with me and do everything to support me and to prove to them that it's a good faith marriage. Our intention is not to get a divorce. We want to work on things. But now, what do I do that day? Oh, hey, officer, by the way, I did a withdrawal request. Can I revoke my request? Like, how do I carry myself that day?
That's a great question. Well, the 751 is approvable even if you were to get divorced or even if you're living apart. The question is, whether you've been living together as spouses in a good faith marriage that wasn't designed to receive an immigration benefit. So the 751 is approvable. If your spouse is willing to go with you and you guys are honest and say, we're living apart at the moment, or we lived apart for a while, we're back together. If that happens, then the 751 is approvable. The other option is you don't have to rely on your husband. You can get the conditions removed on your green card. It'd be a little bit more complicated, but the main thing I want to mention is don't feel like you have to rely on him. You can, if he filed for divorce tomorrow, or if you filed for divorce tomorrow, you can still get a 10-year green card. You can't do citizenship for 5 years because you have to be married to the person all the way through the ceremony. So if the marriage is back on track, so you're talking a month from now, if the marriage is back on, I mean, I would spend no time beating yourself up for having an interview in August. That could have come anyway, right? So I wouldn't stress out over that too much. I will say that the Virginia field office is a tough place. The field offices that I've been to in Virginia are tough. I think you probably would benefit from a lawyer, because the officer is going to be sort of scratching their head and saying, what's going on here? Like, can I even approve this? And they can't approve the 751. The N400, I think it's better to withdraw it until things settle down with the marriage anyway. I think you've got enough on your plate to focus on trying to get the 751 approved. I think the 751 becomes easier to approve if the N400 is withdrawn and your spouse is there by your side and being honest. We've had some problems. We've been up and down. Things are good now. It's a real marriage. It always was a real marriage. We've been together for years and years. It's just we have this little rocky part. We are living apart, or we did live apart, and focus on the 751.
Okay. Just another question real quick, and then I'll
You're
let
fine.
somebody.
Take your time. You're fine.
Okay. Is even a revoke for N400 possible?
You mean you're asking me, can you revive the N400?
On that day, yes, sir.
Well, I think lots of things are possible. They might accept your withdrawal of the N400 before then and cancel the interview date, because the interview is actually for the N400. Even though they say it's, in my experience, even though they say it's a combined thing, the thing that actually secures the interview is the N400. So you're actually getting an interview pretty quickly on an N400. You're not getting your interview pretty quickly on the 751. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense.
So the whole thing might go away before your interview date.
I'm sorry, I don't think I understand.
So let's say that tomorrow, somebody at immigration opens up your letter saying, I want to withdraw my N400.
Oh.
They say, oh, okay, she withdrew it. Let me go into the system, clickety click, and approve your request to withdraw your N400. Well, if that happens, then I would assume that the next piece of mail you get is a notice. We are hereby canceling your N400 interview because you have withdrawn the case.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And not say and they won't say anything about the 751, and then you'll just go back to waiting.
Okay. And Attorney Hacking, I also looked this morning on my N400, part 10, number 3. Have you ever been married before, or any annulled marriages or marriages to the same person? I literally put the number 1 in the box, meaning me and my husband.
Yeah. That's what it's. The question is, how many times have you been married, right?
Right.
Yeah, 1. Were you married more than that?
No, just to my husband, never before. I do understand part 10, number 3 as if I had somebody before my husband in a marriage.
Okay, so I don't have the form in front of me. Do you have the question there?
I do. Okay. How many times have you been married, including I don't know how to pronounce this. Annulled marriages, marriages to other people, and marriages to the same person. I put the number 1 in there, and then I put under number 4A current spouse's legal name, and then my husband's name.
Yep, that's right. That's the right answer. You've been married once. That's right.
Okay, and then Attorney Hacking here, but then on part 10, number 8, how many times has your current spouse been married?
Mm-hmm.
And I put a 0 in there.
Yeah, that should be 1.
Great. Yeah.
It's okay. You got bigger problems than that. I wouldn't worry about that so much. That's the kind of thing you fixed at the interview. That's just because you're not a lawyer and you didn't know how to fill out the form right. That's not a big deal.
I do have bigger problems than this. I mean, of course I do, because I have to prove my bona fide marriage and all of that stuff.
And your spouse moved out.
Right. In June. And do I disclose that on that day right away when I go and sit down and immediately close up everything, or only answer when they ask me? And of course, when they ask me, I'll answer honestly and truthfully.
Yeah, that'll be tricky because you're going to have to sort of go with the flow. That's a great question. You don't know. I mean, 751 interviews these days are pretty rare. Usually they'll do the N400 first, and then if they have questions about the 751, but they might ask, what's your spouse's address? Or they might say, what's your address? And you say 1234 Arch Terrace.
Right.
And then they say, who lives there with you? You'd have to say nobody. Right? So I don't know, you go in there with your hair on fire. Hey, officer, my husband moved out. I just want to make sure you know. Right? I think that just sets the wrong tone. You got to be honest, like we said, and they might call your spouse in, but you just got to take it as it comes. And this is why I think you need a lawyer, because the lawyer can sort of jump in and say, well, officer, here's the deal. Or, like this is going to be a head scratcher for them. You asked for it to be expedited, and now your spouse doesn't live there anymore.
Yeah, well, I did that request in March. I couldn't know that's what's going to happen now. Like, I mean, if I would have known, I wouldn't have even filed for the N400, of course. Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry you're going through all this.
Yeah, well, me too.
Hang in there, okay? Let us know if you need anything.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Man, we have had some tough first calls of the day this week. There ain't no lie about it. All right. Let's say hi to Ebru. Hi, Ebru. You're on mute.
Oh, hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm great.
So I have a green card and I have a fiance. We are engaged and we're planning to get married, but we were looking into how we can apply for a green card for him. But I realized me being a lawful permanent resident kind of is a disadvantage instead of being a citizen.
True.
When it comes to these things, which we didn't know, which is a sad thing, but I wanted to ask a few things about it.
Go for it.
So he is in the asylum pending status for the longest time. We've done it we live in Atlanta. So he has done it back in 2015, has heard nothing about it. And then he also has a TPS status, temporary protected status.
Yep.
I have had other friends who have been told that they cannot do the adjustment of status through marriage if they're married to a green card holder. We have consulted a few lawyers, which they have said that our situation would qualify for adjustment of status for him. So I just wanted to double check on that. Can he do an adjustment of status?
So, first of all, how long till you get to become a citizen?
4 years.
So you just got your green card.
Mm-hmm.
And did you get it from asylum?
Yes. Hello?
I'm just thinking. Sorry, I'm just thinking.
Yeah, and then I mean, he did come here with an F1 visa, and he had no time where he was out of status, if that makes sense.
Yep. When did he come to the United States, and when did he apply for asylum?
I think he came the beginning of 2015, and he applied 2-3 months after that, or maybe 5-6 months after that.
Well, that 6 months is the dealio. That's what I mean. He was always in status, so that's an argument, right? And you're sure he filed it at least within 1 year of arrival, right?
Yes, that's
Okay.
Mhm.
So here's why you're getting conflicting answers. Are you ready?
Mhm.
USCIS doesn't know the right answer to your question. That's why. And here's what I mean. My understanding, the way that I read the law, and we've had a few cases exactly like your husband's case.
Mhm.
Okay. My understanding of the law is that he can adjust status as long as he filed before he was out of status and his case remains at the USCIS asylum office, in that it was not referred to the immigration court.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
That's what Jim Hacking says.
Okay.
That's what USCIS has said to me in some cases.
Okay.
USCIS has also said to me in some cases the opposite. And USCIS goes around telling people the opposite. Now, I filed a lawsuit for a client in California who had the exact same fact pattern as your husband.
Mhm.
In other words, he married a green card holder. He had a long time pending asylum case. I think he, in fact, had come on an F1 as well.
Mhm.
And we filed that lawsuit a few months after Joe Biden became president. And so, like this, the government sometimes does. They said, "Hey, Jim, can you slow down your lawsuit a little bit? We're trying to figure shit out." And I said, "Well, yes, we will." And so that took a little while. I actually went to the interview. It was in Southern California.
Mhm.
And we sort of sweated it out. And literally, the U.S. attorney was talking to the attorneys for USCIS, and they said, "Jim, give us another month or two, and we will figure this out." And they approved it, right? So he got his green card. So anyone who tells me that it doesn't work doesn't know what they're talking about. But it takes a little bit of extra work. It takes a little bit of extra work. So what I would, and I hate to tell you this, but we'll probably, if we try this, we'll probably be together working on this around up until the time that you become a citizen. That's right.
Right.
Right. But so what I would do is I would definitely file the I-130.
Mhm.
You can't file the 45 yet because of the retrogression.
I was wondering the same thing, and then because I looked at the final action date and the date of filing. Date of filing, so I was like, does that mean I can apply for all of them together or just the 130s? And then one of the lawyers said I can apply for all of them together, which also confused me a little bit.
Well, so I haven't checked. Hold on a second. Let me see real quick.
Because your election date is backdated to 2020.
Right. So every month, the State Department or the USCIS says which one to use, whether you use the date for filing or the final action.
Okay.
So yeah, so this says it's current, and it says next month they're going to use that same one. So I think you can file both. Now, the other question that I'm not sure about, I think the answer to this is no. But the question is, could you file an I-730, which is an asylee refugee? You got your green card through asylum, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if you could file an I-730. I don't think you can, but I need to check.
Okay. Because there's cases of how, like, people could do, I think some people, if they wait too long for their asylum, they do that lawsuit like you mentioned, but it obviously costs a lot of money, so we're obviously having budget issues about these things.
Right.
And also it's a little scary to kind of fasten everything, and then what if
I don't think he wants to do a lawsuit.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to do a lawsuit because he has a whole other path that might take a while through you. right?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah. And then I have found out, just to confirm again, that if, let's say, we have done this application and I became citizen in the meantime because no one like got back to us yet, I could just let them know, hey, can you switch this? I'm not a green card holder anymore. I'm a citizen. And then I can just have them change the whole application process. Like I don't have to apply again.
It depends if the old case is still alive or not. But the I-130 is just to prove the relationship. So the reason citizenship becomes important is if they remain backlogged or get backlogged again, green card holders.
Yeah. So if I can apply for I-130 and I-485 together, then I would do that together.
Mm-hmm.
And then if
but you have to be ready for that fight that I mentioned. You have to be ready for trying to explain to them that it's approvable.
Makes sense. Okay. And then I've heard something, I don't want to take anyone else's time, but I've heard something of like the person who's like my future husband, having to leave the country to go to a consulate for
Consular processing?
Yeah, for a visa.
No, that's not you. You don't have to do that. He was properly admitted. He has proof of his admission.
Okay.
On the F1. I'm asking, does he have proof of admission?
Yes.
Yeah, so no, he doesn't have to do that.
Okay, because that's the big part where we were worried that obviously because he have like approval of asylum or anything, it's not really the choice.
And he's applying for asylum from a country. He clearly doesn't want to go back there for a visa. No, he doesn't have to worry about that.
Okay. So would you recommend him waiting for his asylum case or me being a citizen before we apply, or should we just apply and then just let it be there?
I hate that Atlanta asylum or the Florida asylum offices and the Atlanta asylum immigration court. I think you want to get him on some solid ground. So at the very least, I'd file the I-130, but I'd probably go ahead and file the whole thing.
Okay. Well, that was helpful. Do you think, budget-wise, is this something we could do by ourselves, or does this require?
I think it's a pretty tricky, complicated situation. It's not a straightforward thing, and like I said, you're going to have that fight.
Okay. Well, that was helpful. I don't want to take anyone else's time, but
thanks, Ebru. Thanks for coming on. Have a good day.
Bye.
All right. Franklin's here. What do you say, Franklin?
Hi, Mr. Jim. Thank you for all you do. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for asking. And I have a couple of questions here, and I'll be quick.
Go for it.
One is, my mom applied for my little sister when she was 20. Probably the I-130 went in. They accepted the I-130, received the I-130 the day she turned 20. And
is mom a green card holder or a U.S. citizen?
She's a green card holder.
Okay.
Yeah. So they sent an RFE to her yesterday. So the first question is, my sister will be turning 21 next week Monday, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. Will she qualify for the CSP? I mean, the Child Status Protection Act.
Maybe, but probably not. She's probably going to age out. I think we'll have to wait and see. USCIS still hasn't approved the I-130.
No, they haven't.
Is sister in the United States or outside the United States?
She's outside.
Okay. Yeah, I think most likely she'll age out.
She'll age out.
I think.
All right. And then the second question is, they sent an RFE. It's two of them. The other one is way too young to even age out. So, but they sent an RFE for both of them, and it says that late registered birth certificate or unregistered birth certificate, and it's just so what had happened was the younger one has his very first birth certificate that he got, but when he was doing his passport, they wouldn't let him use that because the country has switched from that to biometric certificate. So he has to go do another one to do that. The oldest one probably lost her birth certificate because she had to move to high school and move to college, so she can't even find it. So in this case, it's just explaining what I just told you. Okay, what else do you think my mom should do?
So what country are they from?
Ghana. And
as far as the brothers not being able to use it for the purposes of his Ghana you mean he wasn't able to use the the old one from when he was a kid. You're saying he wasn't able to use that one for his Ghana passport, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, so he was supposed to go back and get a new one. Get a biometric one. The one.
But does he still have the old one?
He still have the old one. Yes.
Okay, so do you know about the visa reciprocity table?
No.
Okay, so I'm pulling it up right now, and surprisingly, it's working faster than usual. So that's pretty good. Hold on a second, okay? Let me pull it up, and then I'll show you. Share screen. Ghana. Share. All right, so can you see this? This is the visa reciprocity table.
Yes, please.
So what the visa reciprocity table is, the State Department has gone through on their behalf and for USCIS to figure out what's available document-wise from every country. So marriage certificates, divorce decrees, and birth certificates. So if you type in visa reciprocity table, what I did is visa reciprocity schedule, and then Ghana. I just Googled that, right? So now you go down and you look at general documents, birth. Can you see that there?
Yes.
So let's see what they say. Birth certificates, free if the child is registered within 12 months. After 12 months, it's 20. The document is called the Certified Copy of an Entry and Register of Births. It's issued by the Registrar of Births and Deaths of Ghana. Special seal, computer-generated certificate on green A4 size paper, approximately 2 centimeters square, 3D holographic security sticker, reading controller and accountant general. And then it says who issues it and then what the criteria are. Usually they'll have alternative documents, but see, it's for people over the age of 60. So you need to look at this pretty carefully and get them what they want.
Right. So right. So I think so for the younger one, I'm not even worried because he still have the old one, so I can just say, hey,
I think he's good. Yeah.
But the oldest have the new one that they wanted him to make, because when she was also doing her passport, that's the same problem. Even when she was going to college, they wouldn't accept. So it was okay for her to have the new one because that's what everybody would accept. So my question is, I'm not even worried about the younger one, but the older one who doesn't even have the old one to start with. What do we go about it? I mean, how do we go about this?
Well, was she born home or in a hospital?
She was born in a hospital.
And was her birth recorded at some point?
It was.
How old was she when it was recorded?
My mom doesn't even know. So she went. So usually when after 40 days you can go for your birth certificate and stuff like that. And
yeah,
she just, they don't keep records back then. Even now, computer age has probably helped a little bit, but back then they don't even keep records like that. So
mom sure she registered the birth?
Yeah, she did. She had the old one, so she gave it to her.
Unless you or mom are going back to Ghana anytime soon, I think you need to hire a lawyer to go track it down.
Oh, gotcha. To go track the old one down.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have any tertiary affidavit, you don't think they'll take that, or even secondary affidavit like baptism?
Here's what I'll tell you, Franklin.
Yep, go ahead, sir.
I've had many clients tell me, Jim, swear to God, no way, no how could I ever get the document. I want to use a secondary affidavit. I say, no, you got to at least do your best. So I would say that if you want to go that tertiary route, what a great word that is, tertiary.
Right.
If you want to go the tertiary route, you got to at least do your due diligence and explain to them what efforts you made to get what they want. So first, there's great value. This is a good topic for tomorrow. There's great value in getting them what they want. One of which is sometimes you get lucky and you actually get it. And the other is if you don't get it, you at least lay the groundwork for why you don't have it.
Right. Sounds good. No, definitely. Because she went there, and the copy they gave her was the one she already had. So she was like, "Why? This isn't what I'm looking for. I'm looking for when I was born." But like I said, the country is transitioning to the new. So we'll figure out. I'll probably, I don't know, find someone to help and figure out maybe if they can get her the old one and stuff like that. So with what's that? I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You had another question?
Oh, so with the first one, then he has his old one. We don't have to add anything to it. Just send the old one.
I mean, you have to read that visa reciprocity schedule for Ghana and figure out if he has what they want.
Gotcha. Sounds good then.
Okay.
Right, thank you so much.
Bye, buddy.
Yep.
See ya. Ali is here. What do you say, Ali?
Hi. How are you, Jim? How are you?
I'm great, buddy. How you doing?
Good. That was so. So I have one question for you.
Go for it.
Okay, so my wife came in this February, and then for the visa, I want I IR1. So so when she came in, so right now we suspected a child right now. So I'm facing like a real difficulty on the job and the company relay some employment. So do you think if she apply for the insurance from the government, that can affect her citizenship?
Does she already have her green card?
Yeah, we received her green card after 1 month.
Then I think that it shouldn't be a problem. They don't inquire into that at citizenship.
Okay, all right.
As of right now.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Jim.
Bye, Ali. Good luck with everything. See you,
Thank-
bud. Yep. All right. Aria's here. Hello, Aria.
Oh, hi, Jim. Nice
you
to
doing?
meet you.
Yeah,
I'm good.
for
How are
sure.
you?
Great.
Okay, so I have a few questions for you, but first let me clarify. I am a student on an F1. I'm from Ethiopia, and I came back to the United States in August of 2022. And then a few months later, in October of 2022, due to the civil war in my country, they ruled Ethiopia as one of the TPS designated countries, and it came into effect in December of 2022.
Okay.
And then it goes up until June of 2024. And now I'm still in status, I'm still a student, but due to some financial difficulties, I am unable to continue my education. So I was wondering if, and I can't also go back home because of, the situation back there. So I wanted to ask if I can go ahead and fill out the TPS form.
Yes.
An option. It's an option. Okay. And can I do it without a lawyer's aid?
Yes.
Okay, cool. How long do you think it'll take for the application to be approved?
I don't know. People in the comments will probably say, I would think probably somewhere between 6 and 9 months.
Okay. And then another question is, I will be graduating in May of next year, and my dad wanted to attend my graduation.
Wait, hold on. I thought you said you were having money problems and weren't going to be able to continue your studies.
Yes, right. So if I do apply for the TPS, I also saw on their website that I can apply for a 7 of the work permit simultaneously with the TPS.
That's true, but it's also a violation of your student visa.
To apply for.
So they'll give you a work card through TPS. If you work on that work card under TPS, it's acceptable, but it's also a violation. They'll give it to you even though it puts you in potential trouble because it's a violation of your student visa to work on an EAD that they get through TPS.
So do you recommend withdrawing my student process, like being in school?
What are you trying to have happen?
So I'm hoping that I would put my studies on hold, apply for the TPS, get some money, try to work, and then come back to school and then finish my education.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you should check with the school before you come up with that plan. I mean, are you planning on attending the same school if you stop now?
I have been checking with them since last year. They're not really that helpful. They told me to speak with a lawyer, but
yeah.
They said I think I can put it on pause.
Well, the reason I ask is because some schools, I mean, at that point on TPS, you're not technically undocumented, but you don't have much immigration status, and some schools have weird rules over who they'll let go to school there and who they won't. So I think you need to figure out, would this school accept me? I think you have to consider yourself a new student, not a re-enrolling student. And would this school take me if all I have is TPS and an EAD off TPS? That's the question.
Okay. So
the other question is whether you should apply for asylum.
I don't want to do that because that takes a long time. As I've heard from the previous caller, it might take up to like 10 years for the whole thing to be completed.
But cases now aren't taking that long. There's this window of cases from 2015 to 2017 that haven't had interviews, but cases now are going faster. New cases are going faster than those.
Okay, so you'd recommend that over the TPS?
I would do both.
I can do both?
if you fear persecution, if you fear about something that's going to happen, yeah, you can do both. If you fear something is going to happen to you because of something about yourself that you shouldn't have to change because you're a woman or you're gay or whatever it is, if there's some immutable characteristic about yourself that's related to your race, your religion, your political opinion, your membership in a social group, or your national origin, if you think you're going to be tortured or killed or beaten because of any of those things, then I would file an asylum claim too.
Okay. And then if I do get the clear from the school, if they say I can continue my education, like I said previously, my dad wanted to attend my graduation and he has applied for his B1 visa. Is that going to affect the visa process for him, me being on TPS?
Did he get the visa?
Not yet. The interview is scheduled for beginning of next year.
I mean, lots of visit visas are denied. Your complicated immigration history or not, you're not finishing your studies will hurt his ability to come visit you. You're not finishing your the termination of your CVIS record by not finishing your education under your F1 will hurt his chances to come. But I don't think you should plan on that as a deciding factor, because even if your immigration status was perfect throughout, given what happened in Ethiopia, I think there's a decent chance he wouldn't get it anyway.
Wow. Okay. What about the I-131, the travel document? Do you think
What about it?
Too? Should I apply for that too? How do I choose to?
Where are you going to go?
I was just having it just in case.
To go where?
Europe, maybe.
I mean, if all you have is TPS, my advice would be to not leave the United States.
Okay.
That's why I was sort of quizzing you on where you wanted to go.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. And then another question is on TPS. If I chose to leave the U.S. without applying for a green card in the future, like let's say things are better back home, and I want to go back, move back permanently, would I still be able to get a visitor's visa, or would the TPS affect my return to the U.S.?
Again, not the TPS. It's the fact that you said, I'm coming to the United States to go to school. I have enough money to support myself to go to school, and then not fulfilling that obligation or that promise. I think that's what actually hurts you.
Oh, okay. So it's either going to be better to apply for asylum or find a way to finish school.
Right. And to the extent that if you want to put yourself in the best chance of success for immigration purposes in the long run, then you want to stay in school, get OPT, make some money on OPT a year and a half from now, and then try to find an employer to sponsor you for an H-1B. That's a much better route.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you.
Good luck, my friend. Yep.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Take care. All right. Lawrence been waiting for a while. Hi, Lawrence.
Hey, Jim. How are you?
Hey, nice jersey, man.
Oh, yeah. I told you. I was in St. Louis, so we're matching.
I like it. Yeah.
Again, I called last week, and I'm calling again. I told you last time I'm a priest, and I'm in Cape Girardeau.
I remember.
Yeah. I have a quick question again. Back to the retrogression. I don't know if you saw how all the dates are really back in 2018 and stuff. And I want to go home because as a priest, I have some duties there too, although I'm working here. So I had a question. On my approved I-360, it says that if the person for whom you are petitioning decides to apply for a visa outside the United States based on this application or this petition, the petitioner should file Form I-824.
Right.
So my question was, do you think it's a good move for me to switch from adjustment of status to consular processing?
Well, to me, it all comes down to you're currently on an R1, right?
Yes.
How much time left do you have on your R1?
I have it until 2025.
So, I mean, the question is, do you think that those retrogression dates are going to go faster or not? Do we think the dates are going to catch up? I would hope that come October that those dates get better and get closer to the end of your R1. I think, and you have a stamp in your passport now for 2025?
No, I don't have a stamp. I just have the approval notice. The stamp was expired.
So that's the biggest thing for me about you traveling overseas is whether or not I think we talked about this the other day. 95% chance you go over, you get a new stamp, and you're able to come back. 5% chance you can't come back. Then what happens? Do you lose your job? Do you lose everything you have in Cape Girardeau?
That would be a good question. Maybe not. So my other question was, well, I can apply for visa processing, but still be here for a while, and then perhaps when I get a notification from NVC, and then travel home for the visa interview.
True.
So I don't know if that's a good move, because from what I understand, it's like with the National Visa Center, it's quicker once your visa your date becomes current. It's faster with the consular processing than with adjustment of status.
I think that's the exact opposite. I don't think that's true at all.
Oh, okay.
What embassy are you talking about?
The Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo.
So, I mean, you might check their processing times, but I think you're going to be much faster. And of course, the thing about doing it through adjustment is you're in the United States, right? You're here. You're not having to overcome that hurdle of it. When somebody loses at the embassy, you're pretty much out of luck. There's not much you can do if you lose at the embassy. Here, there's things you can do, including lawsuits or appeals that are much, much harder. The State Department doesn't have to give a reason for refusing your visa, even if with an approved I-360. So I just think you're going to be faster in the United States. You might have a more certain outcome in the United States. I would just encourage you to stay here at least until October, see what happens with those dates, and then maybe we talk again.
So from your experience as a lawyer, you think those dates don't mirror the reality? Like, because like 5 or 4 years, do you think they may...
Well, I can't really cite my experience because this is the first time that jump that we had back. That's the first time that's happened while I've been an immigration lawyer. So I'm going on my best estimates, just like you are.
Okay. Well, that's pretty tough. Now, in case I just decide to travel, as we said, 95% chance I get a stamp and I come back. What if the 5% plays out and then I don't receive the stamp and I stay home and something happens with the diocese and I don't get to come back to get my job? Do you think that would affect my immigration history? Let's say I want to apply for another visa later.
Like a visit visa?
Like a visit visa, yeah.
Well, that depends on why they refused you or what BS reason they come up with for refusing you.
Can they say, for example, oh, you entered with a non-immigrant visa, but we see that you have applied for immigrant visa, or like I-360?
Or they could just say, not even that, so much that you tricked them, but just the fact that you've demonstrated immigrant intent by filing the 360, or having, I should say, by having the 360 filed on your behalf, that is inconsistent with the non-immigrant visa, like a B1, B2.
And that's a reason big enough to be denied a visa?
Sure, happens all the time. It's just like when people who have an I-130 pending for them try to get a visit visa, based on marriage, they want to come to America and see their spouse. Those are denied all the time.
Mm.
And remember, Lauren, we have to assume the worst, which is why I'm asking about the 5%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that helps a lot. I think I should just be patient and wait to see what happens after November.
At least till October. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jim. I appreciate everything you do for us. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care. Oh, an old friend is here. What do you say, Shabazz?
Assalamu alaikum, Jim.
Walaikum salam. He's not in the car. What's up?
I'm not in the car. I'm sitting here in my friend's shop. So it's a leather seats car, Jim, you have to give me now today 10 minutes. I saw how you was talking to the ladies, but please, I'm your younger brother. Okay?
It's because you asked me the same thing over and over.
I'm not going to ask you the same thing. I just want to ask you, Jim. Day before yesterday, I talked to my Congress lady, and then I explained my situation to her. She told me that write a letter to me, then I will send that letter to UCIS. So what do you think? That they already sent that letter to UCIS. So that letter, what do you think? It works?
No.
Okay. So the another thing is now the immigration court, he postponed my date to 27 Feb 2025. So UCIS, the judge, he sent some instruction to the UCIS or no?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So Jim, if for example, suppose on July 21st, 2023, I'm going to complete 1 year, it's the same status is showing that case is being actively reviewed by UCIS.
Yeah.
But actually on 18th June, July 18th, I'm going to complete 16 months. But in Vermont, the processing time is like 15 months. So I just want to take your advice or suggestion that I can go to Houston field office and I can talk to the supervisor that, can you do something or like this, like that? Can I go there and talk to them?
You've done a lot. You've visited a lot of people that I thought would never work. So I won't say that it's impossible, but I think it's unlikely they're going to see you.
But Jim, the thing is that time I did not complete my 15 months, but now I completed my 15 months, and in UCI's website it's showing that 15 months in Vermont. But in on website, why it is showing I can submit the service request letter service this my case inquiry on December 23, 2023.
Because they make shit up and they do what they want.
Oh, but Jim,
you always believe the BS that they tell you. You're such an optimist. You're always thinking that the next thing's gonna turn the case your way, and they just make stuff up.
So Jim,
I mean, you remember you called here for months saying, "Hey Jim, I got this court date coming up this summer. Do you think that when I reach my court date that they're going to send my file over to USCIS?" And I said, maybe, but probably not.
But
then they took away your court date.
But Jim, when I visit UCIS office like 2 months ago, the lady told me that we send email to Vermont and they send your file here in Houston field office. This one she told me. But
I have sat and listened to officers talk at that window, not in Houston, but in St. Louis and in other places, and they say things that are completely not true. So maybe she did. It doesn't matter. All that matters is whether or not you're getting your interview on your I-130. That's all that matters.
But Jim, I just want your honest opinion that...
No, you don't. You don't want my honest opinion. You want me to tell you what you want to hear. That's what you want.
But if you are in my place, what you will do?
Okay, I've answered this question many times. If you really, truly want to get a decision on your I-130, you should hire me to sue the Vermont Service Center, to sue the Houston field office, and ask a judge. Shabazz has been waiting 16 months for you guys to decide whether or not his marriage is real. He needs that in order to stop his deportation. Please order them to decide the case. I will sue them and I'll serve them. The U.S. attorney in Houston who has to defend those agencies is very nice to deal with, and I'm pretty confident that once she receives the lawsuit, she'll call up USCIS and say, hey, get working on Shabazz's case, and then you'll get an interview or maybe no interview. You'll get an interview or a decision in about 3 months. If you had done this when you first started calling me, you'd already be on your way to a green card.
But Jim, to be honest, you are right. I respect your decision. I respect your opinion. But to be honest, I'm sure I got married and I spent a lot of on my marriage ceremony, everything, and I'm living in an apartment and my
so you want to do it. So you're doing it on the cheap, and you're getting the results that you get when you do it on the cheap. I mean, Shabazz, you're my best example of immigrants who want to do things on their own and don't want to follow their lawyer's advice. But so it's actually I get a kick out of you, and I think it's sort of funny, but it's also instructive for everybody watching that I know it's expensive. I know hiring us is not cheap. I get that, right? But at the end of the day, my job is to solve people's problems. I can solve your problem, but I have to pay my team and I have to pay everybody that works here in order to do it.
But okay, thank you so much, Jim. Thank you so much for your advice. But I will go to UCAE office. I thought maybe it's going to happen this month or next month. Allah is watching. My Allah is with me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Good luck. Let us know. I hope it works.
Inshallah, inshallah. Thank you so much.
Inshallah. Bye, buddy. Oh my gosh. That was, I think, the nicest call I've had with Shabazz in a while. So, and luckily I didn't end yelling and screaming like the first time Shabazz called. Oh my God, that clip. That's like the best thing of all time. Gerd is here. What do you say, Gerd? Gerd's pointing to himself. So I guess I got to go to Gerd next.
Okay. My question is, I have a green card. I'm working overseas in Africa, Middle East. I'm a rotator. I'm in US. I work 28 days. So I'm in US, out of US. I'm coming in US. Never problem with the immigration officers. They treat me very nice. No problem. I coming from overseas. I work. So my question is, I will have almost 550 days out of the country and 1,000 and something days in the state. Do I will have any problem to be citizen because I do my taxes, my family here, I have my house, my cars, and my life. Even while the countries where I go are Angola, Africa, could be Middle East, Bahrain or Saudi Arabia, whatever.
Are any of your trips for more than 6 months?
Never. Only 30 days.
Perfect. And have you kept good track of the dates you left, the dates you came back, and the countries that you visited?
Yes.
I would approve your case. I think you're fine.
And I do my taxes as a good baby. And my family is here. I have a good, honestly, personally person. And so I would like to hire you to do my case.
Sure.
So
yeah, have you called the office yet?
No, never.
Okay, so Julio put up the phone number and the email address so that you can get it. But basically, it's 314-961-8200, 314-961-8200, or emails info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. Just call or email and say, my name's Gerd. I was just on the show on Thursday right after Shabazz, who doesn't listen to Jim, and then they'll get you started.
Okay. The last thing is because I'm calling you because because as you said, you're reading the law and interpreting the law in this way.
Yeah.
Because they are talking about the present physically time in US, which is 912 days. I will have 1,000 days or whatever. But they're talking about continually, presently in the year in US. But I'm telling you, I'm a rotator. I'm going 28 days back, 28 days back. And I mean, I'm not freezing my continually resident in US. Am I correct?
You're fine. You're fine on that. You're still continually residing. The only thing I might say, Gerd, is could you give me 90 days in the United States?
Yes, I got to quit. I lost my job.
I don't want you to lose your job. I don't want you to lose your job. But would your employer not let, because there's a rule that and I don't have the rule book in front of me, but there's a rule that says you have to have resided in the jurisdiction of the USCIS field office for 90 days before you filed. And if you could give me 90 days, it would take a big problem away from them. But I don't want you to lose your job over it. I think we could still win, but we'd have to talk all that through.
Yeah, I got a call in person and we can work out, okay?
Okay. Yeah, just tell him I'm Gerd and I want to talk to Jim. Jim said that he would talk to me and I was on the show. You and I can knock this out.
Thank you, boss.
Bye, Gerd.
Thank you. Bye.
See you, buddy. Yeah, it'll probably be Monday. Just make sure all your contact information. I might even call you over the weekend.
Yeah, the truth is I'm going tomorrow to Qatar. I'll be back in the month.
Okay.
So when I come back, I will call you, okay?
Perfect.
Thank you, boss.
See you, buddy.
Hey, you made me happy. Bye.
I'm glad. Bye, Gerd. Well, I like making people happy, and I really like it when people call me the boss. That's what I really like. Jefe. That's what I like. Basha in Arabic. Basha. I like being the boss. Now, it's all good. It's all good. All right. Khaled is here. What do you say, Khaled?
Hey, boss.
How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for doing this, by the way. I just have a very quick question. I got my asylum approved back in December 20th, 2018.
Nice.
I got my green card in 2021, but the date on it is February 26, 2020.
Yep.
And I was just wondering, when is the date that I can apply for citizenship?
February 26, 2020.
Correct.
So 2, 23, 24, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, so you can apply on January, December, November 26, 2024. So let's say December 1st, 2024.
Okay, so it's not this November, it's next November.
Next November. Yep. Yeah,
All
you need it's 4 years and 9 months. There's this great thing called the date calculator. It's a website. You can just go in and put in the date you got your green card, then say you want to add 4 years and 9 months, and then put that date in. And then I always do it a couple extra days just so it's not close.
Right, but it's just because it's an asylum case. They told me it might be different.
It's 5 years from the start date of the green card.
Okay, it's not from the approval of asylum. All
right. Thanks, Khaled.
Thank you.
Bye, buddy. Oh, Nurse Laura, you missed your buddy Shabazz was here. Shabazz was here, Nurse Laura. So sorry about that. But we're all glad you're here. We're almost done, but you can go back and watch. I'm sure you will. All right. Good to see you. Nurse Laura still watches, even though she got her green card. Ha ha ha. Take that, suckers. All right. Ali is here. Hi, Ali.
Hello. Oh my. Sorry, I have turned the camera off. The lighting is very terrible.
No problem.
Hello, Jim. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. First of all, we want to thank you so much. I was on your show 2 years ago. So you have given us great advice, and we are really thankful. We have gotten approval.
Nice.
So I think you didn't remember us. It's 2 years ago. We was trying to apply I-130 through my father's U.S. citizen, but he was refusing hiring a lawyer. So I would suggest everyone to hire a lawyer. It's just saving time. And the small mistake, for us, it cost 10 years. Just my father was refusing to hire a lawyer. So, and by the time I come on your show, he was here with us. And I've showed the show. And your advice was not, we have got denied I-130. And I told him the best advice, the advice that you give us was to reapply again. And I showed him, and he was planning to hire you, but things didn't work because he wants someone who's near the place he lives. But he accepted hiring a lawyer. And that exception 2 years ago have made our life easier. We have got approval. And my two siblings, I'm over 21, but they were under 21. So they got approval, and now they are waiting interview. So you made our life very easy. The advice was very good, and we're very thankful. We really appreciate. Thank you so much. So I advise everyone to get and hire a lawyer, even if it costs money comes, but the time doesn't come. Time doesn't come back. So. And Shaba Ahmed, I think that guy, don't waste your time. Don't look here. Lawyer is the best. Hire a lawyer and save your time. It's much better. So we have a couple of questions. If we want your advice, we really appreciate if you can advise or guide us. The first one is the income after, before we got a documentary qualified, there was an email 2 minutes before the DQ email. So the email was mentioned that the petitioner does not meet the requirement income in order to sponsor the beneficiary, which is my siblings. So the income is a low. What is the best to do? Because they already documentary qualified. Should we add John sponsor, or we wait the interview time and we bring John sponsor? What is the best way to fix that side?
So just to be
because
clear,
we don't want to get.
You got to notice that that dad didn't qualify financially, but then even after that, without any response from you, they went ahead and marked it documentarily qualified. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, so
yes.
Do you think this will be a strange question? Do you think they were right that he did in fact need a co-sponsor? Do you think he didn't make enough money?
Excuse me?
Do you think they were right when they sent you that notice and said dad doesn't make enough money? Do you think they were right, or do you think they were wrong and then they realized their mistake?
They were right. They were right. I
Okay,
even
so
talked to the lawyer, but he was my dad is a self-employed.
mhm,
So sometimes he get low income, sometimes it's high because of the business.
mhm.
So when I check the household size, so that he make requirement less than the requirement.
do they have
So
do you have someone to be the co-sponsor?
yes, we can get someone co-sponsor.
So I would have everything ready and have them bring it to the interview. Do you have an interview date yet or no?
We have not get interview date yet.
If the NVC portal will let you upload stuff about the co-sponsor, I would treat it as if they asked you to do it. If it's locked, you can't do it anyway. And I would just be ready to have it all nice and tidy and organized at the interview.
At interview date.
No, what I'm saying is if you can upload it, upload it. If the system will electronically allow you to upload it. If not, and even if you do that, bring it to the interview. And then if you can't load it up ahead of time, then still bring it to the interview.
Oh, okay, that's great. And the other question is, my brother, he became 21 after documentary qualified 2 months. So he got document qualified in November, or there was 1 month November, and he became 21 in December. But his visa category is still IR2. So is he eligible getting visa after interview?
How long did USCIS have the I-130 for?
1 year and 8 months.
So he should be okay. Dad's a U.S. citizen, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think your brother's okay.
Okay. And the other question is, we have to make interview in a Kenyan embassy.
Yeah.
But they are working very slow. The interview wait time is there almost 17 months.
Right.
So we was trying to transfer case to different country. Does it affect, or we should wait just in Kenya?
I used to tell people don't try it, but now I'm open to trying. It doesn't affect things. Can it get much worse than 17 months? I think it's worth a shot if someone else will take you, and if your siblings can get there.
Okay. And if my father, in case he wants to use a saving option instead bringing someone co-sponsor, so is it specific amount you have to have in his bank account as a saving?
No, don't do that. Get a co-sponsor. Do not do that. You're going to have one shot at this, either at the NVC or at the embassy. You don't want to screw it up trying to mess around with savings. Don't do that.
Okay. And the last question is, I was confused and asked several times the lawyer, but he couldn't explain very well. So the sponsor household size, and the lawyer have put 2 when I was checking the form, sponsor household size. But my father is sponsoring now. The interview is waiting 2, so he's sponsoring 2 people, plus he has a 1 child who's already depending on him.
Plus
it's
him.
supposed to be 4. Right?
Yep, 4.
Not 2.
Correct.
But the lawyer have put 2. Does it affect us later?
It could, yeah, and it might be why they approved it or made it documentary qualified when they shouldn't have. All right, I got to go. Muna, thanks for the call.
Okay.
Have a great night.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, everybody, that will do it for today's show. Tomorrow, we're going to go live at either 3 or 4. I haven't decided yet. Might be 4, might be 3. Sorry, Huli. We will decide tomorrow. That'll do it for tonight. Everybody, have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. If you have a minute, want to leave us a review, reviewhackinglaw.com. We'd appreciate it. Tomorrow is episode 397. We're marching on to 4,000. See you guys.